Hey, it's your boy, Sergeant Hook on Heroes, back with another awesome review of Avataro Sentai DonBrothers, episode 40 already. Holy cow, it does not feel real that we are already on episode 40. It just doesn't. So, yeah, this was another banger of an episode. It's interesting because I wasn't sure I was gonna care as much of or be as big a fan of Tsubasa as I've been not Kiji brother. I can't remember his DonBrothers thing. Oh my gosh. Anyway, of him as Tsubasa as much as I do Inu brother. Oh my god. But he's awesome and also almost my favorite. Like for me, it would go him and Taro are at top, then Haruka, then Kiji brother still, then Saru brother, and then Jiro. Honestly, for the team in terms of who I like the most, but that's just me. But yeah, this is another focused episode with him and actually Sononi. So the narration of it, the opening narration, has to do with Sononi talking about last episode where she was confronting him about his feelings for Natsumi and how he loves her so much and blah blah blah. And it seemed illogical for her that he would give everything, sacrifice everything to be with her and for her to be happy and blah blah blah, right? And so she wants to know more about this. Clearly, being an Naoto, they don't really understand emotions. They're starting to, but I mean, she doesn't fully get it, and she's starting to. So we open up with this one, and Tsubasa is doing his thing. And before that, we see Sonoza training with Murasame, who's still wrapped up with manga pages for some reason. I don't know how that stops him from getting out, but whatever. And he gets out of his hand as he's training with him and says, basically, I'm done with you. Deuces. And he's not going to help Sonoza anymore. Basically, he's bored. And that his energy is still overflowing. He says that to Okasa, to Mother. Mother tells him to find a worthy opponent, find the Don brother, and so he finds Tsubasa and tries to fight him. Sononi is also there, trying to talk to him more about Natsumi and love and all that kind of stuff, and he's just kind of brushing her off and whatever. And so Murasame fights him and ends up knocking him off a building and blinding him. And Sononi takes upon herself to try and take a fatal blow, but she stopped herself right at the last second because she clearly is starting to develop feelings for Inu brother. And she instead, once he wakes up, since he can't see, acts as though she is Natsumi and tries to mimic her voice and just in general sound like her and figure out more about love and play along as if she is Natsumi. So the whole episode, most of it is him going along with her in different areas and also being chased almost by a slasher villain. Murasame is kind of like a serial killer in this one. It's kind of cool. Coming after them. And Sononi keeping him safe and also helping him escape from Murasame and just in general learning about love. So it's really interesting, a really interesting premise for that. We also couple this with Haruka, who's trying to get her license, her driver's license. Her mom or aunt, whoever she lives with, tells her she needs to. She's like, no, it's too, I'm bored by that. I don't really want to. It's too hard. Being a lazy piece of shit that she is, teenager that she is, angsty teenager, and finally gets pushed to do it. And we get a montage of 3 or 4 different instructors that she went through that she either crashed the car or just in general drove too crazy, and they drove the car with them in it too crazy to where they broke limbs and shit and were injured. And so we have this final instructor who's this badass instructor that cannot be broken by anybody, and he has been with her a couple times and gotten a little bit hurt, and he puts on a neck brace and he's like, let's do it. And it's actually the guy that plays him is the actor who played Gamel from Kamen Rider O's Mezuru. But anyway, so he's their instructor, her instructor. She seems to be okay backing up, but going forward, for some reason, she has no idea what she's doing. She's like, this goofy face she does. She's a great comedic actress. I really hope the girl, being as young as she is, this jumps her into stardom because she deserves the world. Haruka is the best part about this show. And I have some stuff to say about her later, some stuff from Twitter that I kind of agree with, and I think would maybe be really interesting if they did. But anyway, so we get more with Tsubasa and Sononi. They actually go on a little date because he thinks he's with Natsumi. So they go to this restaurant and they're eating food and blah, blah, blah. And she's learning more about Natsumi. And she goes, do you remember how we met? And he's like, oh, of course I do. She goes, well, tell me more about it. And he tells her more about how they met. That it was basically there was an audition or something like that. And he saw her performing. And that's what caught his eye about Natsumi initially. And then he talked to her from there. And then they start talking more and getting closer and then dating. So it's kind of cool to see the backstory to that. Again, I'm guessing they're doing all of this for him. I feel like there's some kind of tragic end to this, that it's not going to end nicely for him. It'd be odd in a show like this because of how kooky and positive and charming the show is. But it's also Inoue, who is known for writing pretty tragic, sad things. So I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm ready for it. I've seen Jetman. So, but anyway, so they go on from that. They actually get attacked in there by Murasame. He actually stabs Sononi in the back from behind. And they go on from there. They're getting attacked and everything. He transforms to fight them. And actually, at one point, Haruka comes in. She's doing her instruction, her driver's training, and she hits him with her car, and she like fights him with her car. It's literally like almost like they were poking fun at the fact that modern day Kamen Rider doesn't have any bike scenes anymore. It was like poking fun at it, like, oh yeah, well, modern Sentai has car scenes. What do you think about that? So she's like literally using her car as a weapon to fight. Transforms right in front of the teacher. He doesn't even care. He's like, oh, scared for a second. And she helps. She fights a little bit. But it's Tsubasa and Sononi working together that are able to beat back Murasame a little bit. And then at one point, the Beast Juto detective guy gets the sword. He's running around with it. They're trying to stop him because he's a menace. And you would think he wouldn't even be able to touch it because it's supposed to be the only thing that can kill a Juto. But, which is weird because how did Tsubasa kill his counterpart? I don't understand. Maybe DonBrothers can too. I don't know. But anyway, so they end up working together to knock the sword out of his hand, and then he grabs it and like slashes through him and actually destroys the detective Juto and probably the detective guy too. So I really don't understand how this works. I'm guessing that it means that unless you're a DonBrother, any normal human will be killed if their Juto like host dies, or Juto clone dies. I mean, like the Juto that created a copy from them to look like them. If that Juto dies, then the original host dies as well. But that didn't happen with Tsubasa, so I'm assuming it's because he's a DonBrother. But we'll get into that. So that happens, and Murasame pledges allegiance to Tsubasa and says, I'll help you fight, and blah, blah, blah. We also get a haphazardly thrown in a Totsuoki fight. The instructor becomes one. I can't remember what Sentai it's from. And of course, they all get together, make the robot, and fight it and destroy it. It's really funny because he's with Sononi still, and he's literally getting summoned in to be not even just fighting as Inu brother, but where he goes straight from human to Robotaro form. He's like, oh, I didn't even know this was possible! As he like goes on all fours and gets big, and Sononi's just like watching him float away. So they make the mecha, they do their thing, they fight, destroy it, save the guy. And afterwards, Sononi confronts Tsubasa and she tells him, hey, I want to help you, because he, at one point, I forgot to mention this, he gets his vision back, he hugs her, and he realizes it's not Natsumi. And so his vision comes back, and he sees that it's Sononi trying to like basically, mess with him or whatever. And so she tells him, I do apologize for, hurting you, but kind of, I don't know if she says apologize, but essentially she does feel somewhat bad for like manipulating him. But that, if you do defeat the Juto that Natsumi is bonded with, then she'll be freed. She'll come out of the forest, you can get her back, but you have to kill her Juto first. And we know that it's the opposite. We know that the opposite of that is true, and that she's misleading him purposefully. So what's interesting with that, though, is that she walks away. Before, when their eyes would glow, the Naoto, they would glow the color that they are, like her like whitish pink color, Sonoza's darker brown, yellowish, whatever kind of color sometimes. Color Sonoi with his purple, lightish purple. Hers glows a dark purple, so I don't know if that means she's been like tainted by Murasame, or if it was just a visual goof or what. But she clearly is lying to him, because we know that's not true. Other than Inu brother, so far anybody that's like, bonded with the Juto and made a copy of, they die when the Juto dies. So that's how we end the episode. And then of course Haruka gets her license. She pulls up this car. It looks like garbage. It's like got tape all over it, and the doors are shit. And she goes, "Yeah, so I got my license. So what do you say we take a ride?" And Taro, Sara brother, and Kiji brother are there, and he's like, "My companions, I fear for our safety. Let's go." And they try to turn around and run away, and she runs after them. I think with the car. I think she drives after them. But yeah, it's really funny because this like super intense fight in the rain between Murasame, Inu brother, and Sononi is interrupted entirely by the abrupt Inu-ness of Haruka coming in there with her car and smacking him. But overall, really entertaining episode. It really did a great job, like the whole show does, in my opinion, of balancing the ridiculous goofiness along with the more somber, like character-driven moments. I think the action was really good. We didn't get a lot of Avataro changes, but that's whatever. I mean, we didn't get any, but I don't care, because I like the DonBrothers, and I don't think they need to have the Avataro changes in there as much. But anyway, overall, really, really entertaining. I really loved the episode from top to bottom. Probably give it a strong 9.5 out of 10, only because I wanted there to be a bit more interaction between Tsubasa and Sononi a little bit more after he found out it wasn't Natsumi he was with, because he was bonded. But I mean, that's just a little nitpick. I don't want to give it a complete perfect score. But yeah, so next week is a Christmas episode. Apparently, the Naoto coming to Taro to like either find out about Christmas or tell him about Christmas. One of the two. I just know it's a Christmas episode. But we also see Inu brother fighting with using Murasame to fight the sword to fight, and also using it to Avataro change into Ninja Black actually, which is kind of cool since we just recently had Ken Kosugi in the Battle Familia movie. So. But yeah, so overall, really good episode. I probably start, like I said, 9.5 out of 10. Next week looks really entertaining as well. But yeah, so DonBrothers has been great so far. It's already made it to my number 2 Sentai. It's Real Soldier, DonBrothers, Gokaiger. Wait, I gotta think of what it is. Oh my gosh, hold on a second. It's I have a note right here. God, I'm an idiot. Real Soldier, DonBrothers, Gokaiger, Zenkaiger, then Kyoryuger. So those are my top 5 personally, and they're not any better than the other. But like I said, I really, really enjoyed the episode. I thought it was really entertaining, and I've loved the show up to this point, and I'm sure I will up to the end. We're in the last stretch of the last 10 episodes, though, and I'm terrified what's going to happen and if they'll have enough time to make all of that happen. We don't really have a real centralized villain, although we really didn't truly in Zenkaiger. I mean, kind of with Big Wallman Magoo, but he wasn't really a threat to the very end, and even then he wasn't really a threat. So, I'm really interested in seeing what they go for with this as a final villain, exactly. But anyway, overall, really good series, and I'm loving it so far. For content this week, definitely going to be following this up, recording with my Geats episode 14 review as well. A really, really good episode. Holy cliffhanger. This Sunday, actually, instead of today, which is Friday, as a day of recording this, this Sunday, at the normal time, 7:30 p.m. / 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For Henshins and Homies, we'll be having the great Keza Henshin on the channel to discuss our best / worst tokusuits, worst dressed tokusuits, and then our favorite civilian outfits as well. So that'll be a lot of fun. She's been having a lot of collaborations with like Mark Rosatsu, Thomas Jujubee, Hawk Elise, a lot of people like that, Tokutubers. So glad to have her on, give her some spotlight and some love. She's an up-and-coming YouTuber, or Tokutuber. Got a bunch of subscribers. She's gained a bunch this year. She showed her stats from like the whole year and how it's been going. So definitely give her some love. Definitely subscribe to the Henshins and Homies YouTube channel if you would like to. We go live there every time we record, usually Fridays around 7:30, 8 p.m. Yeah, and you can also listen to us as a podcast, and where you can get podcasts set. So definitely want to throw a shout out to the channel, to the podcast every day that I can. But thank you so much for watching, subscribing, commenting, watching the videos and everything. I really appreciate it. It'd be nice to see a little bit more like back and forth comments in the comment section. But other than that, I'm still happy about the views. And in general, the subscribers, I'm almost at 400. I'm at 384, 85 subscribers. It's absolute insanity to me. 520 followers on Twitter, like, why? But thank you guys so much for that. I really, really appreciate it. It's really cathartic and verging on therapeutic to be able to come out here in my cold-ass garage and rant about these shows for 8 to 10-year-old Japanese children. Yeah, so anyway, thank you so much for watching. But until next time, stay hooked on them henshins. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.